Hello everyone, and thank you so much for watching my video. In this video I'm going to show you how I transform dry turmeric root into a powder. Make sure it's nice and dry and light, and test it with your hands like I do in this video, and make sure it's nice and dry before you start grinding that. I use the best possible coffee grinder, and make sure you guys have a fine grinder regime in the device to transform the root into a powder. So you see here in the video how I'm testing with my hand the dryness and consistency of the root. Make sure there is no wetness feeling on your palms before you start grinding that. All right, so let's grind some turmeric root right now. So I'm placing the turmeric root into a coffee grinder, and I'm gonna grind it until it turns into the finest powder possible. So hold it like this for about a minute, and then you can always test and see if the powder is actually fine enough, and if it's not, you can continue grinding. Right now I'm gonna check to see. It looks nice and fine so far. All right, and then at some point I'm going to sift it through the sifter to make sure that it's fully consistent with the texture, because sometimes there are some bigger dry pieces are still left and they hard to grind further. So I'm using those pieces to make turmeric tea and things like that. I don't use it in preparing foods, but they're very handy in preparing different tea mixes. So don't throw it away, put it aside and use it for tea drinks. So this is my second batch here. I'm going to put that in a plate with the rest of the ground turmeric, and at some point I'm going to grind it. So here it is. So I'm using a smaller smaller sifter at this time, just to test it, to see how it is. And then if it's not enough, I'm gonna use something a bit bigger than this. I'm using a bigger sifter this time just to speed up the process, and now you see that there are some pieces that needs to be ground, but this is how the perfect turmeric powder looks like. It's very fine, it's dry, and it's very consistent. So this is gonna be perfect for preparing foods and masalas and sauces. It will blend well. I'm also gonna check with my hands just to make sure I'm right about the consistency and it feels perfect. So now I'm going to place it in a jar. But these pieces that you see here are not able to be ground anymore, and I'm gonna use them to make teas and golden milk and stuff like that. So these big pieces I'm just going to place in a separate jar, And as I mentioned to you earlier, this is going to go for turmeric drinks, including turmeric teas, turmeric milk with other spices and stuff like that. Make sure it's airtight to preserve the fragrance of turmeric root, which is amazing. And the same goes with the turmeric powder as well. So this is how the pieces look like. So now I'm ready to place this turmeric powder into a glass jar or any airtight container of your choice. Alright, so it's now ready to be placed in a kitchen cupboard. So this is how homemade turmeric powder looks like, and now it's ready.